Tsubasa. I'm the Executive Director here at TiE. Really delightful to see you all be here with us. I think most of you are coming to Silicon Valley for the first time. Is that correct? Everyone? Okay, very good. Welcome. So we're going to get started. Let us have our judges in place. Very quickly, the way this program is going to run is we want to really make it meaningful to you all. So the way we've planned it out is that we have a group of highly accomplished entrepreneurs here with a lot of experience, and we have a selection of companies amongst you that are going to come up and do a 5-minute pitch. Your printouts of your company profile, business, product, marketing plans are with the judges. So they will look at that as you're speaking to them. And then they will take around 10 minutes to give you a lot of feedback, ask you more questions. And the objective here is at the end of your session, you should feel that you've received some good feedback on your business plan. That will be followed by 2 selected companies that we have here in Silicon Valley that are still early stage but already in business. They will make a presentation mainly for your benefit. So the judges are not involved. These companies have presented in the past, and as I said, they have a marketplace, they have products, they have a team. And the idea is for you to see a Silicon Valley entrepreneur presenting. What is that presentation like? And then it'll be for you, our visiting delegates here, to ask them any questions that you feel you need clarification on. So hopefully at the end of this program, you'll have good experience in interacting with our judges, interacting with the 2 companies that are going to present to you. Yeah? Any questions before we get started here? Great. Okay. We're going to try and run it as slowly as we can so that you can absorb and take the messages. I'd like to welcome our president, Venkatesh Shukla, who will give you a quick brief on TiE and what we do here. And then we'll basically kick off the program. Thanks again.
So on behalf of all the volunteers of TiE, a big hearty welcome to all of you. This is basically what TiE does, help entrepreneurs. TiE started about 21 years ago, and the purpose of TiE was to get successful entrepreneurs to spend their time for the benefit of next generation of entrepreneurs. And TiE has been doing it very, very well, very successfully, and done so well that now it has spread to 17 countries with 60 different chapters, carrying this message forward that the best way to promote prosperity is through entrepreneurship, and the best way to promote entrepreneurship is for the successful entrepreneurs to spend their time helping the next generation of entrepreneurs. So that's what TiE does, and all of us are volunteers here. Everyone that you see, in fact, 5 of our successful charter members are our panel of judges. All these guys are volunteers, and all very, very successful people in their own right. And it's a core value of TiE that they spend their time helping others. And in fact, that's the criteria. Can you hear me? How long has it been on? Just. Oh, that's okay. All right. So basically, that's the core value of TiE. And so on behalf of TiE, I welcome you all, and I thank our volunteers, you see, who whenever asked, you see, always they always are willing to spare time for a good cause like this. So, so you'll benefit, see a lot from, while you are here, I'll certainly encourage you to talk to them and encourage you to benefit as much from their, from their guidance and coaching as you can. There is another charter member who just came here. I thought I'll introduce him also. Will you please stand up? Manish. Manish was part of a company called Integnology, just got acquired, so he has some other business ideas, and I think he might share that with you today. So, with that, let's invite our guests, and let's see what the program is, and get this going. Please come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for us to get kind of very good, exciting atmosphere. Our mission is to learn Silicon Valley spirit, which I understand that Silicon Valley is a very, very open-minded area. So I am a leader of Osaka Innovation Hub, operated by Osaka City government. And in order to make an innovation in Osaka, we want to implant the Silicon Valley spirit. The project name is called Hack Osaka. And to name this, we have to implement the real hacking spirit by getting these young entrepreneurs and the students come to here. Last year, we got 5 startups from the tour who visited here, and including these 4 student entrepreneurs. 3 of them got fund from the venture capitalist, and also including angels as well. Anyway, we believe open-minded atmosphere is very important for the startups. And so we are very, very proud of taking these young entrepreneurs in Osaka. They are going to be a founder of the real realizer of the Silicon Valley spirit in Japan. So, thank you very much. So that's why I would like to very, very grateful to you to give a good energy or Silicon Valley spirit to them so that they could learn your spirit here. Thank you very much again for giving us such good opportunity for us, for them, and hacking Osaka. Thank you very much.
With that, I'd like to introduce Ramesh Krishnan, Director of Business Development here at TiE. He will take the proceedings from now on. For those companies that are presenting, Hitoshi-san, they're all here. Yeah. Very good. And Ramesh, as you come up, I'd like to just have the judges kind of face you all and give a quick 1 minute. I know you've probably seen their bios, but have them introduce themselves just for a minute as the companies get their presentation ready.
Let me do this. These guys are modest. They don't want to excuse themselves.
All right. Okay.
I'll do the introduction for these guys.
Stand up and face the...
Yeah. So I'll call one by one. You see. So on the first one here is Paul Singh. He's a marketing expert, and he is a board member of TiE. He was also he put together the very successful TiECon conference last year, and right now he is CEO of a company called Espresso that works with enterprises in accelerating their application development time. So, Paul. Vish Mishra is, he's my predecessor. He used to be president of TiE before I was. And if there's anybody in Silicon Valley who embodies the true spirit of TiE, it is Vish. He is associated with a venture fund called Clearstone, and he has been involved, you see, as an investor, as a mentor, as a coach, as a board member with hundreds of startups in the Valley. So, Vish. The third judge is Farhat Ali. He used to be CEO of Fujitsu USA for a long time. Do you speak Japanese?
I know Biru and Kapai and all the party words.
Okay, all right. So he used to be CEO of Fujitsu America for a long time. He retired from Fujitsu, and now, like a lot of Silicon Valley people, he's an entrepreneur. And in fact, you see, he is trying to launch a service that will disrupt the taxi business in Midwest in America, and starting out there and then fanning out from there. So very different from what he did at Fujitsu, but that's how entrepreneurs are. So thank you, Farhat. Pradip Madan, he is putting together the TiECon this year. Again, you see, entrepreneur, successful executive in a number of different companies. He was part of an Internet of Things company called Ashlon for a long time. He's been involved with a number of startups as an investor, as an advisor, and he's spending bulk of his time now putting together this next conference. So thank you, Pradip. And finally, Taira-san, he doesn't look like the rest of us, but he is, believe it or not, he is one of the earliest members and one of the architects of TiE in Silicon Valley. He has been with TiE much before, you see, any of us here got involved with TiE, right? You got involved in what?
Yeah, 96.
Yeah, 96, yeah. So he became a charter member of TiE before anyone else became charter member. So he goes a long way, and senior statesman of TiE, and we always look to him for help and guidance and and support. So thank you, Taira-san. Okay, so with that introduction, I guess we can go forward.
Thanks, Frank. So are you all excited? Our judges are very excited to hear your stories as well. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. My name is Ramesh Krishnan. I'm the Director of Business Development at TiE. Welcome to TiE Silicon Valley. And we are delighted to see you second year in a row. I recognize my friends from Osaka from last year. Thank you for coming back. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce the very first company that's going to come and present in front of our judges. The company is Dokofuri. But before they do that, I want to just set the rules that each company will get 5 minutes to present, and then there'll be questions only from the judges and not from the audience. So the first company is Dokofuri. All the best.
I will introduce you Dokofuri. Now, C2C trading platform such as an auction site is very inconvenient. For example, when you buy something on an auction site, you can't select items were sold nearby, so sometimes it costs very high transportation fee. Also, mail communication and payment process are tiresome. We did a survey in Japan at Kyoto Station. We asked 33 people. Firstly, I asked them, what would you do when you have items you don't need? Most of people just throw it away. So I asked, why you don't sell at auction sites or second-hand shop? About auction, they said, mail communication, registration, and confirmation process are tired. About second-hand shop, the price is too low to sell. So we are creating more convenient C2C free market service. It is not tiresome and it can sell at proper price. So this is Dokofuri. Dokofuri is an online free market service which you can trade with neighbors directly. You can sell unnecessary items to the neighbor, and you can also buy the items you want from neighbors. This is a screenshot of Dokofuri. Now it is an alpha version, and we are testing the function. At first, you have to register, but it is easy. You use postal code or zip code to register your living area. And this is a login menu, and when you log in, it is a main page. From here, you can easily register the items you want. And from here, you can search and see the items around your area. And from here, you can easily register items you want to sell. And from here, you can search and see that someone wants around your area. This is a list of selling lists. And I will explain the marketing plan. First target is university students, because some university student lives very near place, and they lack of money, and they have a lot of time to trade. Especially student textbooks, because they already have a culture to trade textbooks directly. And the textbooks is only needed for 1 year, and it is very expensive. We did a user test. We made a registration form for books where they can register the book you don't need and you want to trade. I asked 16 people, and 15 books are collected to buy, and 28 books are collected to sell. It looks like a Craigslist, but Craigslist is not used in Japan. Dokofuri is focused on trading, and it protects users' privacy. Craigslist often uses users' exact address to trade, but Dokofuri uses only users' region, living area. And when you trade Craigslist, sometimes uses users' house for trade, but Dokofuri uses public places, such as station. Monetized model is a freemium model. You can start it to use it for free, but heavy users have to pay a commission to Dokofuri. As a heavy user, I assume people who are doing the resale for profit and the second-hand shop. Dokofuri is the next marketplace. Trading happens everywhere. Thank you.
I can ask the first question to break up. How do you propose to attract sellers and buyers to your site? How do you plan to attract sellers and buyers?
Sellers and
Buyers. How do they find out about your site? Because acquisition of customers is very expensive.
First customer. I explained I'm a university student, and I'm a university student, so I studied from my friends and same university students.
But how would you even go within the university? How do you advertise? How will people find even in a big university?
And I distribute the paper, and I make the advertisement by myself.
A question. You have models like Craigslist, which are either free or very inexpensive, and you have eBay, where the fees can be anywhere between 8% to 15%. You have the freemium model, so from 0 to 5%. Have you analyzed your profitability? Because at 5% or some blend between 0 and 5%, it's very difficult to make money.
For example, Japanese auction site Yahoo Auction is a premium model now, and it don't cost many much because users trade directly, and I am only a web service, so it can be okay.
One more question related to that. Does the 5% include payment processing or exclude it?
Credit card.
Credit card processing.
Not use credit card because it uses users trade directly, so with money.
Oh, that makes it better. Great, thank you.
To operate this, how much money you needed in the beginning, and after you operate this 3 years, how much money do you think you can make?
I don't need money because I make by myself, and after 3 years, if all Japanese people see that, we can make money about $100 million, $100 million.
So if I look at colleges, at least over here, college students, when somebody is buying and selling, there are a lot of news groups within colleges already where this information gets circulated. If I am buying, somebody's selling, people know how to communicate because it's kind of in the friend circle. So what is the value that you are offering that people cannot do within the same university that they can, by their contacts, that they can do already? So in a university setting where students tend to know each other better, and with the different news groups and things like that exist, the information travels fast, or with Facebook or Mixi or whatever your social network is. So my question to you is, with all of that communication already available, what is your value add that you have done that I cannot do by going to Facebook or by dealing with my friends across the other door?
It is focused on trading, and Japanese people don't on Facebook. I buy this book, I sell this book on Facebook. But this is a trading platform. People can write, I want this book, or I sell this book.
So I have a more basic question about the size of this market and the business itself. So can you give us a feel for what is the total business volume in terms of dollars or yens that is happening today, where people are trading used products amongst each other? I have no idea. So can you tell me how large this market is? And it seems to me that maybe market is large, because if you want to be a $100 million business, that means it's a big business. And the second question is, how inefficient this market is, because what you're trying to do, you're trying to bring some efficiency in the marketplace. Right? You make it easy for people to trade among each other. So could you talk about those two things?
In America, doing Craigslist, American people use Craigslist very use. But Japanese people don't use to trade neighbor platform. It is because Craigslist don't protect privacy. So the Dokofuri protect it, and it is used like a Craigslist in Japan.
And
How do you protect privacy?
And the press release uses exact address to register.
No, I don't have to. That's not
Have
true.
to.
No,
No?
not on Craigslist. I only give the area. I never say the exact address. And I don't need to meet at my house. I can meet anywhere you want.
Right.
Both parties decide where they want to meet.
Also connected with privacy, you're saying it's neighbors dealing with each other, so they already know each other, right? You're saying it's a small group, university, whatever.
No, not all university students know each other.
But at least they are close enough.
And could you talk about how much of business is being done today? Just with, my first question was, since people are already trading amongst each other, so what is the market for the used, products or used books and used whatever,
University students don't able to buy any books he want now. So we can trade more books for this trading platform.
Are you familiar with a company called Chegg, C-H-E-G-G? In the US, Chegg, CHEGG.com.
No, I don't.
So, or for the course, say 3-4 years, worst case. So they prefer to rent a book. Chegg.com is in the business of renting books, and their revenue model and profitability, I think, is much stronger than a marketplace running at 5% margin. That's one thing to think about. The second thing to think about is with books now going to downloadable format, the bigger the book, the less the student prefers to carry it around because they have a tablet sort of with them. So folks like Chegg are also renting downloadable versions of the books, which will expire after, say, 6 months, 1 month, 6 months, a year. So you may want to think about those kinds of business models also.
本を売るよりは大きい本棚があるからダウンロードして一月借りるとか二月借りるとか期限切れたら全部ワイプアウトされるとそういう風なモデルがいいんじゃないですかと。
Oh, I didn't think of that.
ビジネスモデルなんですが、さっき3年間で100億円っていうんだけど、ちょっとそれはブラボーにそこまではいかないんじゃないかと思うんだけど、もうちょっと詳しく1年目に例えば1000万売るとか、3年目に100億、1億売るとか、そういう感じでもっと詰めてやらないと、非常にビジネスモデルを作るそのものが非常にまだ危ないような気がします。しかも同志社大学の中でやってるような感じがあるんで、あまり大きな展開できないんじゃないかと思うんで、もう少しそういうプランをどれくらいいくら売るかというのをちゃんとやっていかないといけないと思います。
So I actually agree with Pradip, that if you would focus on books in universities, right, and figure out 2 or 3 different models, then I think you can use some sort of a platform to make an easy trade. If you make it too general, which was a comment you heard earlier, it looked like Craigslist. People have done general eBay, Craigslist, and the cost grows the more things you want to show. But if you restrict yourself only to books, it's very easy platform to use. Name of the book, this, very easy to use. So it fulfills all of your requirements. I think if you restrict yourself to books only, initially at least.
One other comment. You were starting in Japanese language. It's become quite easy these days to make websites multilingual. And to be able to support a broader market only for books initially. Have you considered building the platform with multilingual capability?
But one girl, if firstly, I acquire the customers at Japan.
Of course.
Yeah. Because but it if you expand, I will multiply language. I consider.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Back to what you said about getting brand. If you run your marketplace within a social network, you have a much easier time getting publicity. So now these days marketplaces are being implemented, say within Facebook, or say leveraging social media. Have you thought about any tools around your marketplace to leverage free social media marketing?
I think about Facebook growing and it can expand with Facebook. I consider it.
You may want to look at a company called Bewarket, Bewarket, Warket. They are strictly social media based marketplace, and they have millions of customers at this point.
ソーシャルメディアを利用してマーケティングしたらどうですかと、何百万という人が使ってるというそんな感じ。
Very good. Thank you. Nice job, Dr. Fury. You stayed, they actually took only 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And the judges get 10 minutes, they took almost 13 minutes. Good feedback.
Where is the timekeeper?
I That's okay. Great feedback. Thank you. Keep it coming. We want to bring on the next company on stage, Actuirise. And while they set up, I just wanted the audience to know that our judges also have printed copies of each of the company's profiles and their executive summaries, just so that they have some more detail. So they are looking into that information as well as they give feedback to each of our companies that are presenting. All the best. Thank you.
My name is Koichi Mishra. My business solves the problem of bring your own device. This is my background. I have been IT sales about 20 years, EMC and Panasonic. I have many customers and partners. This is my experience. My brand asked me the delivery date in the business meeting. To find the answer, I called my company's office. However, admin assistant was very busy and angry. One day, I could use VDI system by my private iPad because VDI is very secure system and it can use Windows. But VDI is too slow movement and it has taken several minutes before I started Windows. VDI is uncomfortable for me. Therefore, I had an idea. It works like a live security camera recording the images watched on a TV screen. The screenshot of an internal site will be taken automatically and periodically. The screenshot will be trimmed and sent to the server, and I can quickly check the screenshot with the iPad. I acted at once, had a patent, had a subsidy, finding a company, recruiting, make prototype. I will show prototype. This is an Android app. I want to know a number of stock of the product. Startup, input the pin, dash download, choose, spread and scroll. 1900 units, about 30 minutes, very quickly. Everybody happy. I name it WebClip. VDI has a weak point. WebClip can support it. Of course, security is top priority. Market of VDI is big and grows up. However, VDI users pay money with stress besides. How much do customers pay this product on DVD cost? 10%? 5%? It depends on the satisfaction of the function. I guess 3%. If it is right, market size of WebClip are $225 million. There may be two fees. The license charge of WebClip are two kinds. One is a user license. The other is function license. Function license is more expensive if customer use a lot. Now, there are two big VDI makers, Strix and VMware. I will propose to them alliance with my company. VMware is EMC Group. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Question?
Yeah.
How is this different from an extranet?
Different.
From an extranet?
Excellent.
So, the VDI, you can either do a VPN, you can have VDI, or you can have an extranet, which will give you access to a limited set of pages. Is this different from an extranet?
Extranet.
Which is a certain number of pages that can be seen from the outside.
Let me ask a question which might clarify. So are you taking the content and converting it in real time and then serving it? Is that what you're doing? You're taking an internal content and converting it and processing it into a format that can be viewed?
Interval?
No, but what do you do at the interval when you come? Are you converting all the pages into static pages before you give it to the remote device?
Yes. File system is JPEG, picture only.
Got it. So you understand now. So the question that comes up is, it is good for static content. What happens to the dynamic content, number one? Number two, I don't think VDI is used a lot for mobile. VDI is used for desktop, but for mobile VDI has already failed. So most people either just VPN into their system or the application itself does the processing and provide you a mobile version. So I'm trying to see what is it that you bring that I cannot do today in a normal, in my own BYOD environment using any other product. Like I can use the Citrix, I can use other tools. What can I not do that you will allow me to do?
I think VDI user is continued. My product on service, optional service, I want to. So I I propose VDI makers to alliance my company.
But you don't do anything real time. You cannot deliver a real time data. You can only deliver in a batch mode or a process mode.
Don't require real-time data. Only use only, I think.
So which applications would your product work for? It won't work for all applications. So which application does it make sense to use your product?
Which application?
Why don't you answer in Japanese and you can translate the answer?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Translate the question and answer. 私、リアルタイムというのがどこまでかなんですけど、1分1枚取れるので、はい、1時間に60枚取れるので、1分間隔に取れますから、1分前のデータが古いと言われて、リアルタイムじゃないとおっしゃいますけど、1分前の情報でもいいというニーズはあります。で、どんなアプリケーションかと言われてるんですけど、例えば在庫とかですね、1分ごとにそんなに変わらない、例えば1時間バッチで取れるとかいうものであれば、さほど。リストイントラネットの、サイトですので、物流とか金融とか、そういうサイトです。
例えば、ワードのドキュメントが
ブラウザで表示できる。そうです。ブラウザのものだけです。そうです。
Okay, then his answer is that, or then that he can take one page, one view per minute, and 60 per hour. And this is for the not necessarily for the real-time application, but the static information that they already have, and they can be reviewed as from the browsers.
What is the reason? Is the security? Is that the VDI is sending one picture in minutes? Is that secure? Is that why is it secure compared to other communication method?
One reason one 一つの理由はすみません。ワンウェイだからですね。向こうから送ってくるだけなので、誰かがこう入っていく隙間がないと言いますか、そういう設定がないということです。
Just it's one way, so nobody can interrupt those. That's so secure that they say.
One more question. If you are transmitting screens, can I print them out? And if I need to give something to a customer?
Print out?
Yes.
No cash. Yes.
It would be good to have that because sometimes that's what the customer wants.
Yeah. 毎回取りに行くというのは消えるので。
質問は、それが欲しいのがお客さんなんじゃないですか。もらってプリントアウトしてもらうっていうことでやるんですか。
My top priority is security.
So no, that the security is because you are checking how many stock you have in office. That's why it's not those messages not to go to customer, just to you. Is that so? Therefore, this system is just between your salesman and back office people communication. So it's not really transaction. You are not using this. So
Yeah.
Why? How you can get the money for beyond? So that is one question.
これはセールスマンとバックオフィスの人のコミュニケーションに使われるものだから、じゃあどうやってそれは他の経理が
VDI も同じように社外にいて社内にいるかのような仕事をするためのものですが、非常に立ち上げるのに時間がかかるので、もう少しスピーディーにリアルタイムに近く、情報を見たいというニーズがあるはずだと思っています。で、その VDI に多額の費用を払っているのに不満を持っているお客様に対してオプショナルとしてご提案するということで答えになっていますでしょうか。
So the question is just your salesman outside is sending this message to head office, and then there was a inventory 3 pieces, and then the salesman talked to the buyer to okay we can sell you 3 pieces. Is that what you're doing?
在庫を調べるためにセールスマンが外からセキュアの方法としていくつあるのって聞いていくつありますって言われたらセールスマンがそのお客さんに3つ売りますということをやるんですか？
いえ、そうです。商談中にできるだけリアルタイムに近い状態のデータ数値を商談中にその場で答える。お客様の前で PC を立ち上げて起動に5分かかってというのは多分ナンセンスだと思いますので、あるいはそう時間のないとき電車を待っている時間の数分とかでも使えるというそういうイメージですね。
So I'm trying to understand real customer need. Have you talked to a customer who says, yes, I like this system because it solves a particular problem? Meaning I'm looking for customer feedback. So which customer says, this is the problem, nobody can solve it, and you have solved it? Can you give me a very specific example?
今のところはダウンロードで10人ダウンロードした形跡があるんですけれども、一応フリー版はオープンです。
No, sorry, I want to make sure I'm talking about a real customer. Have you talked to a real customer? Not in your mind what the problem is. I want to know if you talk to a retail store or a salesperson says, this is what I need. I want your customer feedback.
Buyer is the IT.
これは例えばパナソニックとかああいう会社にプレゼンテしてるんですか？
いや、まだです。フリー版、昨日リミテッドファンクションしかないので。
だから結局そっちの方のビジネスにつながってない感覚が我々はそういうふうに受け取れるので、あなたはそこだけのポイントでセキュアなベースというんだけど、果たしてそれがどういうふうにビジネスにつながるかというところの話につながってないから、それを説明してくださいって言うんだけど、今でもないわけ
ないです。Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job again. Only 4.5 minutes. Very good questions, I thought. Keep it coming, judges. Next company up here is Mimiru.
Yes, Mimiru.
Mimiru. And to tell you more about Mimiru is my dear friend over here who is getting set up. I love his t-shirt as well. Very colorful.
Hi, my name is Tomoyuki Sada. I'm a founder of Mimiru. First, I'll explain the word Mimiru. There are 2 words in Japanese. Mimi means ear, and miru is look. So our tagline is the world seen with ears. Do you know this device? It's Google Glass. It's a wearable device. When I saw the wearable device for the first time, I believed that the wearable devices are suitable for the blind. Use case. Which is Coca-Cola? It's an easy question. But, by the way, how about this case? If you can't see anything, it becomes a very hard question. Okay, then you wear our glass, our Mimi glass. There is a camera, and it's in place of your eyes. The device helps you by voice. No sound. It's a Coca-Cola is one on the left. Okay. The market size is low vision population. In Japan, there are 1 million people, and in the world, there are over 120 million. Anyway, we made a prototype. We designed it in a headphone style because the blind don't need display unit. The display unit, the cost of the display unit is high, so we can make it more affordable than smart glasses. It's hardware. And software, I'm a software programmer, so we are developing image analysis program now, but it's a little bit difficult. So to make a market-ready product, it requires for 2 or 3 months or years. But I can't wait for it. So I really want to start this business right now. One day, I got an idea. We can solve the problem with social and human power without image analysis program. It's Bob's story. He is Bob. He is blind, and he wears our Mimi device. Then he can take a picture easily, and the picture is automatically tweeted with a message. Please reply about this picture. Then Bob's friend Sarah, she is browsing her Twitter timeline, and there is Bob's tweet. Of course, she helps him by replying. And then the device reads the message to Bob. And now playing the voice. Next. And Sarah can help Bob only in 10 seconds. By the way, there are a lot of Twitter users in the world. Please imagine. Twitter users, everyone can help Bob. Next. Everyone can help Bob, like Sarah. So everyone can help the blind in the world. So easy ask, easy help. Everyone can help the blind instantly. So I picked this idea to Twitter Japan. They loved my idea and promised to support this Mimi project about especially public relations. And Mimi will use Twitter system practically, so the viral marketing will perform this plan. And Mimi received these awards last year in Japan. Our business model is very simple. We make devices and sell them. And after that, we provide additional software as a monthly subscription license. Thanks.
Excellent idea. Question. When you tweet something, it's open to everybody, and you can get a lot of responses. And that can flood the system. In the end, for this to work, only one person has to respond. So if you replace tweets with, say, for example, over-the-top SMS messaging or equivalent over-the-top type of messaging, and first only send it to the 3 or 4 people who are helping that blind person, who know that they're helping that blind person, then the traffic coming back will be limited and it won't flood the system. If, say, those 3, 4 people are not available, you have a second circle and you can resend the message to, say, 10 people. And if they're not available, then you can expand it further. Something like that.
Blind books library for blind person, TiE. So he and me asks 10 about 10 blinds, and I make prototype by iPhone app and Android app and tested, but they don't use this device because there are no physical buttons. So we have to make some wearable device with physical button or switches. So yes, some feedback.
But by the way, very good idea. I think as you build the product, I'm sure it's going to go through changes. But you're listening to the users, so I think it'll be pretty successful.
Now, one more suggestion. How many blind people are there in Japan? Do you know?
Blind people is especially blind is
partially blind also.
Low vision is 1 million, but blind only blind 100,000.
Okay. So 42% of all the blind or near blind people in the world live in India. Okay. 42%. So there are certain markets that are very large, but these markets also are not Japanese language markets. So can you serve those markets?
Yes, English, several languages.
In local languages?
Local language.
Yes.
But it's very simple system, so we need to change voice, text to voice system only. Other system helps everybody, human power. It's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
So, do you have this device already built?
Yes, and headphone style one, but it's not market ready.
So why do you even need to build it if I use Twitter, right? And in Twitter, somebody can respond to me with a voice as opposed to responding in text. And I could use a Bluetooth and play the end response already. So why do I need to build the device? Because you're not doing any image processing. So my question is, have you thought of a simpler way to just build this device? Because this device is nothing more than that. And plus, I don't see what have you done which is different yet. Why cannot not replicate very easily what you have done? Because one of the question here was, how do you reduce the noise? Because social media is all about noise, which means you're going to get bombarded with, if I'm a blind person sitting at a grocery store and I click and I get 1,000 responses, that's pretty useless to me. I don't know which one is correct. Some may be prank, some may be something else. So unless you are building a network and solving that problem for me, I don't see the value.
I make 2 or 3 buttons, and first, only friends or family, treat only for friends or family. Second, I'm planning, I will ask big company, national company or corporation to, they have a lot of telephone operator or someone, often they are free, then they reply to help us, not to everyone. Especially CSR programs.
But I have seen visually impaired people do this here already, where they take a picture and they will send it to somebody of their friends and family when they're stuck, and they will get a response back. They'll get a phone call from them. So my question to you is, what is it that you are building which is so unique that I cannot replicate it. Once I see you, I cannot just build it myself.
だから普通のその iPhone でもいいから、それで逆にそれで写真を撮って送って、そのリスポンスを聞くようにしたらどうですか？Bluetooth からそれやって、そうでないと私を作ってたらお金かかるんじゃない？
差別化やね、差別化。そういうものがもうすでにあるから、それとの違いを聞いてはりますわ。そんな。
In Japan, iPhone or Android, the client don't use or can't use this device. So only 1% or 2% now. So they prefer to use old style mobile phone. And I think this the device Mimi Miru is the Mimi device is replace sorry. Mimi device, the blind use Mimi device only, not iPhone. So in the future, the Mimi device has GPS information system and can talk each other or telephone.
Why not just build software for a device that everybody else has? Why build a device?
Maybe I should. Can I just?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to. I think Paul is making a very good suggestion. If your expertise is software, do not get involved in building that complex hardware, because whether it's iPhone or the old device, there are plenty of devices which can be changed because they all have cameras, they all have sound, they all have translation. So if you use all of the pieces which exist, don't spend time rebuilding that piece. Concentrate on your expertise, which is software and developing the network. I think that's the feedback we are trying to provide you. So the question is, why would somebody want to spend another $300 for a very special product when iPhone or BlackBerry or a thing already you have, which for $300 you can use. So concentrate only on software.
スマートフォンのソフトウェアでね、できへんのかって言ってたんだけど。
できるんだけど、デバイスを入れ替えたいんですね。目が見えない人は今、デバイスを持ってないというか、持ってないので、
ソフトウェアで触られへんから、
わからないから。
So the people really don't have iPhone or Android, actually cannot operate this since they're blind.
No, but that's not true. In US market, I see so many visually impaired people who use iPhone and Android, which is why if you look inside the configuration, there is a special setting for accessibility, which is focused at visually impaired people, because that is a big market.
だから実際にそれはツリーではなくて、実際にアクセシビリティところをセットアップすれば、障害者の見えない人が
使えるような仕組み
になってますから、みんな使ってくるんですよ。だから、ハードウェアを作って、もうまたたくさんの投資をして、その専用デバイスをするよりは、今あるもので、それを実現しても入らないですかっていうサジェッションです。
What I would like to recommend is that there is a center here in Palo Alto, if he really wants to look at how people use this technology. It's a visually impaired center, I'm forgetting the name, but I will remember and give it to you. You can go there and they will tell you all the things they teach visually impaired people in terms of technology, smartphone, how to use them for all these different functions. So it is a very well-known software work that is being taught to the visually impaired. So my point is, these phones are going to keep on dropping in price, but you will never be able to keep up with your device. You know, there is a $25 phone which was offered at MWC last week, a smartphone for $25. So you can't really beat that volume. So you should do software. That will be my recommendation.
妻に言うと、まあ、 人たちの、あって、そこに行って話をしてみるというのが一つと、あともう一つは、今も今のところでは、そういうソフトウェア、スマートフォンの意味では25ドルでできるソフトウェアが育ったものがあるんだから、作ったものがそれを要は超える、コストパフォーマンスを出せるとは思えないので、ソフトウェアに仕事した方がいいんじゃないですか。
Thank you. There will be a lot more feedback and opportunities as well for you to interact with the judges. We do have a networking session from 6:30 to 7, and then followed by some dinner over here. So there will be some more opportunities for you to collaborate with our judges. Anyway, moving on, I'd like to bring on the next company on stage, and that's Ride Design.
Hello, hi there. I'm Hiro Hamada. I'm designer and art director. I designed many products like this. And I was racing rider. This photo is me when I rode a motorcycle at such a Suzuki official course, Japan. I want cool motorcycle, and then I have interest to design. Now, merit of the motorcycle. Throwing space and space saving, and high mobility, swinging and handling. Anyway, cool and fun. But motorcycle had risk to fall down. When our chain did end the Suzuki 4-hour endurance race, my machine about 120 miles per hour drove fast. Then I fell down by the stride of the rear tire at head length, like this. With my passion and our team's dream were crushed. I think at such time, if there is motorcycle which I can stable riding on rainy days. Now, this is a general sports motorcycle. There is a front tire and rear tire and a power unit of engine. The power engine to the rear wheel, a chain that transmits the power to the rear wheel. Then the power to combine on the tire becomes 100%. But here is cause to sweep. Therefore, I want to suggest an innovative motorcycle. First, there's no engine, and combined innovative layout only in EV is possible, like this. Second, an infoil motor is adapted rear and front wheel. I can combine power on the tires surely by doing so it. A scooter able to double to cars able to W to 4WD. I think motorcycle can evolve 1WD to 2WD. Then merit of 2WD. I should be able to change power to turn over into power to advance. whereby the sliding down of the tire is reduced. It is stable and you can riding on the rough road surface. Developments. At first developed model which can ride in 2WD and like this. And schedule. First design, production, and running test to brush that. And enter the UV bike race. Market debut and the expected price is $3.5 million. Such as another maker's price to another maker's for high-end motorcycle. Anyway, I want to create a motorcycle which is safety and active. It supports the moment when an innovative motorcycle is created. Thank you.
Is this electric?
Yes, electric motor.
And where is the battery? Where are the batteries?
Battery. I should here battery space.
How many miles would the battery go?
Yeah. I think 100 miles.
100 miles on one charge?
Charge? One charge, yeah. One charge. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have to make the motorcycle electric, or can you make it two-wheel drive using a conventional engine also?
Pradip, it won't make sense to build a mechanical two-wheel drive anyway in today's world.
It's so difficult in engine type. It uses many gear and many parts and heavy weight. No good.
How do you plan to take it to production? Are you going to build it in a big factory? What's your production strategy to build the units?
I'm from Osaka. Osaka is many factory. My partner and my team member is make, for example, make a gear and arc or screw. Many products. They can many products. There is my team member.
You're going to do it at a factory, right, or something.
What's your cost? What is the cost to produce it?
The first one.
No, the first one is a little more, but in general.
Maybe 5 million. Yeah, 5 million. $5 million. 500万円から1000万あれば作れると思います。
50,000 to 100,000 first unit.
How about when you have made 500 units?
500台作るのに、
はい
入れたいとか最終的にどれぐらいかかって
500台ですか。
レベルで
おそらく2000万から3000万とかかかってきます。
200 to 200, but yeah, his answer
There is a company in Santa Cruz which also makes the electric bikes. If you have looked at it, can you tell me how are you different than them?
電動バイクはい、まあ、多分見ましたかってことなんですけど、まあ、見たら、まあ、頭の中で考えると、どうやって見されてるんですか見ました
あ、まだ見てないです。サンタクルーズは知らないです。
I don't know the name, but they started with racing and then they got into off-road also. Yeah, they've been around like 5 years maybe. Or,
売り値3万5千ドルになってるんだけど、もうすぐ高い感じするんですよ。普通のモーターサイクルの値段。はい。それ3万5千ドルくらいでも買う人がいると思います。
他のメーカーの、ハイエンド、一番いいモデルの値段で大体そのぐらいの値段で売られました。それと対抗するだけの性能が出したいという思いがある。はい。
両方ウィルドライブするためによって安定さが増すんです。
はい、それを想定してます。はい。
レースってそれやらないわけね。
はい。
それで始めたわけね。
そうです。はい。僕ももっと早く走れるはずだと思います。
Two wheels are more stable, that's why he can go racing.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
I think the sales price is 35,000.
35,000. Right.
And how do you prevent Chinese from copying your design and making it really cheap?
Make
better one.
Make better.
It's called Zero Motorcycle.
Zero, that's right.
ZeroMotorcycles.com, you could check it out.
Zero.
And they focus on off-roading as well.
Have you done any understanding of how big this marketplace is, like in the world or in Japan or in the US? How many people will buy a $35,000 motorbike? Do you know the size of the market?
One model に対して。理由は、フェラーリがワンモデルで1000台でやってるので、それが目標としています。
Have you considered licensing the technology instead? Because your costs are too high.
今までは考えてなかったですが、はい、これから考えています。
Another question. Have you actually tested a prototype of this bike? Earlier, the question as to where the batteries are, and how many batteries you have. That's a very good question, because if the weight of this bike is quite different from that of a regular bike, in terms of handling, it's going to be quite different on turns and at high speed. So have you actually tested your bike with full battery capacity?
So one other question, have you thought about to get the regulators, on motorbike, whether it will pass safety and security in the US, and what the cost and timing of all of that would be? Because if for small bikes, no problem, less than 50 horsepower. If this is very power, the security and safety, and so have you given any thought to getting past the US regulators that that's the first market?
ハードルがいろいろあるのが分かっていますが、今調べてますね。並行してまだ調べ中です。リサーチ中です。
Are you using laptop batteries? Are you using laptop batteries like Tesla does, or have you developed something else?
What battery?
今のところ、バッテリーメーカーの、社員が仲間になって、開発、には協力してもらうことにはなっています。
The next company on stage is Wearable. I have a question for Ride Design. I'm a big bike enthusiast, and I think I like the Ninja style, but I think we should get a cruiser also. Make it sound a little bit like a Harley.
Just for you, custom built for you. Custom built for you.
So we have Wearable on the stage to take us through their presentation.
Hello everyone, this is Soheyagi. I will talk about Fuiku, the second-hand kimono marketplace, Japan to the world. It's beautiful. Anyway, so kimono in Japanese traditional clothes. So I have one question. So how many kimono are in Japan? Not using the straight kimono.
1 billion.
10 billion. Sorry. So, a little small. 800 million wearings. Sleeping in the closet. I think it's a very huge number of the clothes. So, and there are a lot of kimono fans in the world. So I have kimono, so very deeply comment. So I think anyway the little market, I feel so to grow market from our user survey market. So this survey is so actually so concerned about Japanese itself, Japan itself. So we approach the inbound market, so tourists or students and living in Japan, foreigners. And so third, prepare the high price range product. So our user is satisfaction of the price, but they feel more worse, they can buy more expensive one. So the last one is so provide the kimono contents. and they want to so more information or how to wear, or how to care, or a history. So we will take this information and so specialists to connect to the original funds. This is our website test warning. Thank you.
Do you actually have a website already? And how's the traffic going?
How's traffic going? So about so website is so subscription users mailing list mail address is 600 users, and so website is a page view is 1万件ぐらい。はい。はい。But yes, 10 です。Now,
サブスクライバーな。
600です。
サブスクライバー。
はい。それで Facebook ページとかは4000とか、4,000。
What are your sales?
Sales. Yes, test sales is so very little, but so we sell. Sorry, only two person.
And what's the price of a new kimono?
A traditional kimono is usually so about 300,000 over, and so yen. Sorry. So, but more traditional one is 100万とかあります。はい。
So the question I have is, it looks like it's a good idea. So how do you plan to scale? How do you plan to get more people to the website? What are your ideas for scaling for excellence?
I see. So the last part is so to grow the user, but so I already so promote the advertisement. So these so Facebook use interest user. This one. So this ad is about one user get 10 cents and growing. So and some people comment and so share is a little viral starting.
Do you know what is your cost of acquiring a user? Because somebody, so I'm assuming you paid 10 cents for somebody to like your page or come to your Facebook page, right? And usually the conversion is about 2% of the people that you got to come over. So, which means that it will cost you probably another few dollars before this customer will ever buy anything. So the question is, do you know what is your customer acquisition cost and how can you lower it? Because the reason for your success and failure is going to be totally dependent on how much of a customer acquisition cost can you lower.
お客さんどれくらいのインドで入ってきますかと。で、それで一つのお客さんを捕まえるに2ドルか3ドルを使うわけだけど、それはどうでしょうか。
So similar competitor is existed. So this competitor revenue is about $200 million. So second-hand kimono to sell the world. So So now it's not active, so sales. But so, end of the 3 years, I will go to $300 million. Yeah. So acquisition cost is of course now testing, but so I consider so now $50 to $100, but so the tuning is more so cheaper. So I feel I can.
50ドルから100ドルっていう値段っていうのはもう少し安いような気がするんだけど、そうでないと、そんなレベルの品物でないと売れない。
そうですね。そこは値段をもう少ししっかりと値段を、価値を伝えていくことで、高い値段で買っていただけるというのを試していきたいという段階ではあります。
Are you thinking mostly customers within Japan or an international market?
Sorry, so now it's almost overseas. So but next step is so inside Japan, living in so for
We have our last company from Osaka presenting. The name of the company is Budima.
Yes.
Budima?
Budima. Nice to meet you. We are Budima. Our business is rental service of baby products. Why I want to do this business? I worked at company rent baby products. So I know the baby product has high demand. Baby rental product has high demand. But the company cannot be scalable because they used the product purchased from online market. So I want to make it scalable. So we will use Chinese factory. We already tied up with. So I quit this company and I decided to start the business from California. So why we gain traction from California? California has the largest market in US. So largest number of bus. So baby is hot issue here in California. So why will we rent baby product? So we, according to our survey in Santa Monica, more than half of the mothers has said it's expensive and they don't know what to buy. Why they think is it expensive? Is that expensive? Because they have to change the product, baby product, adjust to growth, due to children's growth. Specifically, they want to need new lightness product and adjust to growth. The bigger one they need and low. It's they must be changed cassette because when weight of a child is over 30 pounds, it is decided to buy low. So there are problems. So we need a reuse and one-stop solution and cheaper. We will rent a whole set of private baby products at low price. So this is our main service, 1 year pack service. So first year we will rent following prices. After 1 year, travel system will be back, and if customers want, they can buy high chair and baby bed additional $10. $10 if they pay. If they use our system, our service, they can save around $600. So it is 60% off. But maybe you think, is it safe and clean? Yes, and we just use 2 cycles. First we will buy, and second we will check and clean and try to rent. And after that we will throw away products.
So I think many people think, is our service scalable or not? So I want to explain this business model. So we first get order from the customer, so online or shop, and we purchase the products from the factory, and so the cost of purchase will be $100, and we rent it for 1 year, and after 1 year it will be returned. So sales will be around $428. So the marginal profit per user is around $300. It means that for the first stage we have sufficient margin to invest for customer acquisition. And our plan for 30 years, we want 10% of California mothers to use our services. Then the profit will be like following. And also, if we gain 300 users, our service will reach the break-even points. And in future, like after 30 years, if 10% of California mothers keep use our services, then we're going to get the 4,000 customers information per month. And we want to make the additional profit through this connection. For example, we can use this customer information to enhance their marketing. Also, like this company are competing to make profit. So they want to acquire the customer too. So we can give their information to the customer when they rent our services. Thank you.
Do you know what the market is today for used baby products without this kind of a marketplace or without a rental model in terms of buying used products?
Buying used products
for babies.
For babies, there are no exact like statistics game, but yeah. So that we calculated from the numbers of baby born.
The reason I asked the question is because baby products are very unhygienic to recycle. You said you will cycle them once, so only 2 cycles.
Yes.
But the person who is going to get it the second time is going to be concerned about hygiene. Will you do something about disinfecting the product?
Okay. So we still didn't decide whether we should like rent it for cheaper price or not, but we at least want to do the maintenance, and we also see the real product that which used for 1 year, but it doesn't like broken too much. So yes.
So I'm aware of at least a couple of large companies who who franchise model just in Chicago and all. And if I remember the numbers correctly, I think the second-hand stuff is very cheap because after they're done, they just bring and sell it by weight. So second-hand renting is closer to like 20% of the initial price. And sometimes they do sell good one, but there are lots and lots of companies, stores in malls, doing this business, which is specific to baby products only. So I forget the names, but I can remember them. And the margin is very low because the labor cost to manage that.
Yes.
So the question for you is, you said you can make a lot of money, but how much effort does it take you? Is it a storefront? What are you paying your employees? What are you paying the use? So can you tell me about your total model?
So you want to know the fixed cost, not only the variable cost, right?
Yeah.
Okay. we are still like preparing to do our services, but so this is only the plan. But we think like we said 20 offices, 20 stores. I mean, and for each like these are the condition to calculate that revenue. And actually, we want to 3 people in one store, and the salary is $2,000 per month. It's like this.
I think this your as Farhat says, it is already a very crowded market, and I think the cost to set this business up is very high. And then the projection for revenue that you're looking at, I think pretty risky. So this business is, while the concept is good, but as a business, it is a relatively weak business. Yeah.
So you mean there's too much competition in this business?
And the your cost is high.
Cost is
Tori office, that costs a lot of money in America.
Okay, so
even
like
in Tokyo.
we still didn't decide that whether we have to set the shop or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that was the point we were trying to make, that if the industry exists, you have to bring a new idea. If you can say, I can do this without, there are these 5 companies who are doing this business, here's the sales model they have. I can do it cheaper because I won't have 3 people, I can do it, this is all automated, no people required, no office required. And therefore, I can sell it cheaper and better than them and make more money. You have to give me the industry transformation of this business. The customers are there, but you're going to do exactly what everybody else is doing, and nobody can make money.
Okay.
Virtual.
Thank you.
古くなったやつを、the second hand pricing is something questioning because the old product maybe you cannot charge that high, so that is the kind of people talking about. So you got to review those your business model for second year's leasing, so you got to be reduced.
Actually, I think the second-hand market is not that big compared to the brand new market. Like we in Santa Monica try to find a lot of the shop which sell the second-hand baby stroller, but yeah.
Santa Monica is not a good place. In America, we spoil our kids. We spend more money. The more money we spend, we feel better. So Santa Monica, there will be no, and if you have a $100 stroller or a $500 stroller, they'll buy a $500 stroller. So money is no object when it comes to babies.
Okay, thank you. So I think that there are a lot of different customers in here, and we didn't live in US, so for the marketing part, we are not that sure.
And also in the US, you have Goodwill stores, you have lots of, for poor people who want to, maybe they are very cheap, like 5% of original price, with Goodwill and hundreds of stores. Chinese Dragon, I mean, I know enough.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're done with all our friends from Japan, all 6 companies, very well done. So, Dokofuri, Actuirise, Wearable, Right Design, Wearable, and Pradip. Good job. Big hand for them. So the first part of the evening was to showcase our friends from Osaka who did a great job. We now wanted to bring 2 companies from Silicon Valley. These are 2 great startups. You're going to hear their stories, so I won't steal their thunder. But what they have been able to accomplish in the short duration that they've been around would probably give you a lot of pointers for the young entrepreneurs who are coming from Osaka. What we will also do, they'll get 10 minutes to present. And what we will do is have 5 minutes of questions. We would like to allow the 6 companies that presented also ask questions of them, in addition to any questions that our judges might have. Judges, some of our judges know these companies.
They should ask them questions.
Okay, so the judges have given all 5 minutes to the 6 companies that are here who presented to ask any questions. So the first question, Is Sanjay Upal here from Willow Club? I don't see Sanjay, so what I'm going to do is introduce Garima Tokchum, who is the founder and CEO of Akasha. Akasha is a TiE launchpad company as well. So TiE just recently started our accelerator in the month of January, and Akasha was one of the first companies that we picked. So very proud to have her here. She's a successful entrepreneur. This is, I think, her second or third. Well, I'll let her tell you about that story. But I want to get your presentation started. But before I do, I'm going to bring Garima on stage while I set it up and let her tell you a little bit about Akasha while I get the presentation set up.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you had a good and educated time here. I'm happy to give you the pitch as I prepared it. And if you have any questions about how to prepare the pitch, how to present it, etc., feel free to ask me. And hi, Farhat. Vish, I'll just tell you that Vish has my pitch memorized because he helped me with it. And he's watched me present it 3 times. So apologies in advance, and I'll forgive you if you fall asleep.
Oh, yeah, I thought you have something new today.
It's the same thing as what it was a couple of days ago. So my name is Garima Tokchum, and Gautam is my co-founder. We both started Akasha. At Akasha, we're building a solution to enable enterprise CIOs to improve the efficiency of their infrastructure by 30 to 50%. My background, I was at Sun Microsystems for 11 years, working on Solaris as a developer and then later as a product manager. And I was at VMware for several years. I started out their infrastructure solutions team, and then I joined a startup called Gale Technologies, which was a lab automation software company, and I repositioned it as a cloud automation software company. We were in a very competitive market 2-3 years ago, and we were tracking about 20 competitors to Gale Technologies when I was there. Of those 20 startups, only 4 got acquired, and we were one of them. So I find it incredibly exciting to be part of a technology startup, especially in a competitive market. There's a great deal of demand and a great deal of enthusiasm. So one of the important things as you're preparing a pitch for investors is to really net out your differentiator and frame it in the context of what is the problem area, how you solve it better than the competition, and how the market space is large enough that you can actually build a business around it. So it's as simple as that. And one of the things that we were trained on as we go through TiE Launchpad is that as you communicate the value of your startup, remember to exude your enthusiasm and energy. Okay? Oftentimes it's that's far more convincing than the words you speak. So let me describe the problem in the industry today that we're trying to solve. In the enterprises, 90% of companies have deployed virtualization. And they're running several workloads in their private cloud environments and also in public cloud environments. Through all of this, the focus of the IT departments has been to improve the ease and speed of provisioning resources and the security of the resources provisioned. Unfortunately, very little attention has been paid to utilization of that environment. So there's very little visibility into who's using what, how much, where, when, and what is it exactly costing them. So IT departments are over-provisioning resources to make sure that the end user's SLA is not compromised. So the result is spiraling and unpredictable IT costs within enterprises. So the bottom line, virtualization and cloud haven't lived up to their promise of saving costs. And our solution to that promise is, we'll measure it so you can manage. What's our solution to that problem? We call it Cloud View, and we do 3 things. One is visualization. So we help you look at the granular usage and cost of in-house and in-cloud resources in one dashboard. So you can get in one view what the total cost is for you. The second is optimization. So there are areas in the enterprise that are underutilized. There are other areas that are being overutilized. And because there's no visibility to the measurement, you don't know that. The IT manager doesn't actually know that. We allow the IT manager to look at our dashboard and see what are the areas that are being underutilized and what are the areas that are overutilized. We also allow them to do what-if analysis. So say they had a workload in an area that was being underutilized. We would allow them to do what-if analysis, see what it would cost them and what the optimization would be if they move that workload to another place. The third feature we offer is Plan for Cloud. So we allow the IT manager to analyze and predict the cost of migrating a workload that's running in one environment to what it would cost them to run it in a cloud, say Amazon or Google Compute Engine or Azure or Rackspace or others. That's the front end of our product. It's probably too small for you to notice, but we'll be happy to give you a demo if you want. Now, to give you a sense of how we came up with the concept, we spent about 10 months validating the concept, and now we're in the process of validating the prototype. During the concept validation, we went to 3 conferences. We've actually invited to speak at OpenStack Conference and CloudCon Expo. We also attended Data Center Conference, where we were happily analyst interviews in addition to validating the concept. The logos you see there are actual customers that we spoke and ran the concept. This was the first stage, which was concept validation. Our second stage is product validation. We have a prototype now, thanks to TiE Launchpad and the funding we received from them. And we are going back to actual end user customers who would be prospects for us, and we're talking to them about the prototype. There's definite interest. So NetApp is interested in the product because they think they can get customers to move to the NetApp cloud and be sticky there. An enterprise architect from Commvault was so excited about it. He said there's screaming need for this product. Right time, right need, ready for the future. And one thing he noticed that we believe also is that we will have accurate trends of what it costs to run workloads in different places. So that's valuable information. Another prospect from SpectraLogic said, hey, I'm trying to figure out whether I should do Cloud Archive or Tape Archive, and with a tool like yours, I can do meaningful and real ROI. In addition, we have 3 letters of intent that we're working with, 3 customers during our outreach of just about 2 weeks. After looking at our prototype, have agreed to be beta customers, have agreed to buy our product, and are giving us letters of intent. Now that we have assured ourselves that there is need for the product, the next thing we wanted to make sure was there was enough business in the marketplace to make sure that we could build a company around it. If you look at the enterprise size itself, according to Gartner, the internal enterprise size is $130 billion worth. Within that, the private cloud section is $10 billion worth. The public cloud infrastructure is $10 billion worth. We believe our total addressable market is 1% of the total spent in that space. So it's over it's over $100 million. Now let's take a look at the competitive landscape. My founder and I come from the enterprise space, which is the big green square. And when we looked at the market, it appeared to be crowded. There was a lot of noise, but most of it was in the public cloud sector. Cloudability, Cloud Cruiser, Cloud Rose, etc. They're all working on optimizing the usage in the public cloud, which is $10 billion. When you look at the internal environment, there really is competition from 2 tools. One is VMware's vChargeback, and the other is from Dell vKernel. We consider these really competitive to us because they do chargeback in the virtualized cloud environment. There are other older companies like CA, VMC, IBM, HP that also do chargeback, but it's very expensive and a lot of legacy tools there. In this crowded space, we think we have a great deal of ground to cover in the hybrid environment. We also do optimization and plan for cloud which the two tools that I'm showing you there, Chargeback and eCommerce. Where we are, so we have a prototype that was available this week. We are starting beta customer recruitment. Our beta version should be available in April, and we expect to accelerate it with funding. The first beta version will support VMware platform and Amazon with some planning tools included. And we will have other versions of the product as we go along. We were requesting $750K in seed funding and a Series A of $4 million. This is the team. So my background is Sun, VMware, DM Technologies. My co-founder's background is Unisys, Commvault, and Shoreline Systems. Our architect has deep and extensive experience in the space. And Sanjog Gad is our advisor, and his background is WebEx and SAP. So with that, I'm happy to take questions.
Our next speaker has a little time crunch. He has to leave in 5 minutes, so if you can hold the questions for the next speaker to also get done, that would be terrific. Thank you very much. Just hang on, we'll get you back here. Don't leave here. Delighted to introduce our next speaker, Sanjay Uppal, who's the CEO and founder of a company called Wearable. Sanjay?
Thank you. Firstly, let me apologize for the time crunch. As you know, in Silicon Valley these days, the traffic is horrendous. So I gave myself a certain amount of time and missed the window. And I have another engagement right after this. But I'm the CEO of a company in the cloud space. The company is called Velo Cloud, V-E-L-O Cloud. And we're going after the enterprise networking space. So just to give you a little bit of history, I worked in enterprise networking back in the days when there were X.25 networks, and that moved on to IP-based networks. And typically the infrastructure that was set up for an enterprise network would be to put heavy appliances in the endpoints of the infrastructure. So if you have a large number of branch offices, if you're a retail company or you're a financial company, typically you have many branch offices. And in those branch offices, you would put what we call heavy infrastructure. So that would be a router, a firewall, a VPN, a WAN optimization device, a secure web gateway. And then the other endpoint would be in your enterprise data center. So between the branch office and the enterprise data center, the corporate traffic would run. And that has been the architecture for a number of years. Now, one of the difficulties with this architecture is that anytime you want to roll out a new service, you have to roll it out in a new hardware appliance. So the services are encapsulated in hardware appliances. The difficulty in encapsulating services in hardware appliances is when you want to roll out a new service, you've got to ship a new box. And then you've got to ship that box, you've got to connect the box, configure it, install it, operate it, and maintain it. And that ends up being a fairly slow process, particularly when the number of branch offices is increasing very rapidly. In fact, any traveling employee to us is a branch office. Right? You may be traveling, you have your own device, you're sitting in a hotel room, that to us is a micro branch office. And of course there are regular branch offices as well, places that, that are physical branch offices, like this could be the branch office of TiE as an example. So the difficulty of encapsulating services in hardware appliances really slows down the development of new services and also slows down another trend that is happening, which is applications that are being delivered now from the cloud. So instead of applications being just simply in your enterprise data center, where there are typically 2 or 3 endpoints, now applications are in the cloud where there's hundreds, if not thousands of endpoints. It's very difficult to locate heavy infrastructure in each one of these 1,000 endpoints. So we believe that there is a new architecture that is required for enterprise networking, particularly for extending enterprise networking to branch offices. Now certainly all of you have heard about SDN, and all of you have heard about network functions virtualization and all these 3-letter acronyms that networking people like to come up with every few years. What we're doing is taking the concepts that are there in software-defined networks and extending them to the endpoints of the enterprise. So there's a lot of very good companies that are solving the problem inside the data center, and how you separate the control plane from the data plane, and how do you get service delivery inside the data center. But we believe that there's an equivalent problem to be solved in terms of services that are delivered to individual users to your phones and to your tablets, as well as to people who are sitting in branch offices. So that is the problem that VeloCloud is going about targeting. And the way that we are targeting the problem is to come up with two parts of a solution that is very different from this heavy infrastructure. So the first part of the solution is to locate either a piece of software or a device in a branch office that we call a thin edge. The reason it is thin is because it is a much more collapsed design than what you would normally find in a branch office. So this is our first thin edge. Should have brought a picture, but our first thin edge looks very much like a Wi-Fi router, but it's a lot more powerful than that because it has to be capable of running virtual services. So we take this thin edge. So hardware is one thin edge, and then we have a software thin edge that runs on a server, and then we have software thin edges that will run on people's end user devices, like bring your own device. So that's one end of the architecture. As I mentioned, it's difficult to locate hardware infrastructure in thousands of endpoints, particularly when there are cloud services. So instead of locating infrastructure in thousands of endpoints, the SaaS vendors, we have developed a cloud ourselves. And so the other end is really VeloCloud. VeloCloud delivered as a service. So this thin edge to cloud architecture, we believe, is going to be the new architecture for delivering enterprise networking for the extended enterprise. And that we think, perhaps somewhat egotistically, that we are the first company to go out and build such a solution. Now what this solution is going to be used for is to deliver virtual application-aware services. So services to date have been layer 2 services or layer 3 services, but now we believe that there's going to be a next set of services that are application aware. So what do I mean by application aware? So let's say that you're running voice as an application in your branch office. Now if anyone has tried to run voice over a broadband network like voice over Comcast or voice over AT&T or voice over LTE, most of the time it works. But some of the time, most importantly when there's a sales call going on or your CEO wants to talk to someone, the thing fails. And that's when people decide that, okay, this broadband network, it might be 100 megabits per second, but it's not good enough for my real-time communication. So the ability to detect that there is a voice call going on and then to do special things onto the network, that's an example of how we make things application aware. Another application would be real-time communication. So a lot of you may have used Citrix GoToMeeting as an example, or may have used Cisco WebEx as an example. So those applications tend to be compound applications. They're composed of different flows. There's a voice flow, a video flow, several data flows. So the ability to take those flows, segment them down, and then treat each flow separately and assemble it at the other end, that's application-aware networks. So that's the application-aware part. The virtual part comes from the fact that the services don't need to be delivered in hardware appliances anymore. So you don't have to actually physically send a hardware appliance. What you can do from the cloud is you can direct the branch office to spin up an application. So everyone's aware of virtualization and spinning VMs up and down. So we're taking that concept and extending it out all the way out to the edge, so that from the cloud you can say, today instantiate a WAN optimization service in these 5 branch offices. And without rolling out physical infrastructure in the branch office, you should be able to instantiate that service. So that is the virtual part. So with this thin edge to cloud architecture, we can roll out virtual application-aware services and really shrink the time for a new service to be deployed from weeks and months to minutes. So we have several customers right now. We have about 10 customers actually 12 customers in beta, service providers and enterprises that are testing the service right now. So we've built this thin edge, we've built the cloud. The cloud has been deployed first in North America, and then we will extend that out to Europe and to Asia. And then we are signing up enterprise customers who will be going out there and then deploying this, deploying their enterprise networking as a service. From an investment standpoint, we started the company in November 2012. So I have 2 co-founders. One co-founder is very strong in the virtualization space, because this is all about virtual app-aware services, and the other co-founder is very strong in the networking and security space. So we looked very hard to find, or I looked hard to find a complementary set of people that I could put together as a team. And then our first seed round was raised from an incubator called The Fabric, that some of you folks may be familiar with. And just as is true in Silicon Valley history, is we had our first of our several meetings in the home office of one of our investors. So not quite the garage, it was more like the living room. So that's where we started for several months, and then we moved from there into shared space that we got. We were mooching space from Clearstone venture partners in Palo Alto, and then we raised a first round of funding from NEA, which is on Sand Hill Road, and that was a Series A last March. And so we've built the product, we've launched, we're just launching the beta program, and then we will be launching the product in a couple of months or so. So that's the history of the company, and again, I want to apologize for kind of rushing it and not showing you the slides or bringing you the infrastructure, but at least I wanted to make it and share the VeloCloud story, and perhaps I'll pause here and take a couple of questions. Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm interested in how you are making your projects. So as you pointed out, I want to explain the history, how you are making go forward your projects. How long did it take from your idea to the seed funding, something like that?
Okay.
Or how can you persuade those seed acceleration or accelerator early investors? What is the reason why you can get the good kind of seed acceleration money?
Sure.
So what is the mechanism contribute to that kind of result? I'm trying to, generally speaking, understand the kind of Silicon Valley ecosystem type of things.
Okay, all right, good question. So I think the first thing is we've got to convince ourselves before we convince the investors that this is a large market. So, and that's part of the Silicon Valley ethos, I guess, to figure out what are the large problems and the large markets to go after. So once we figure out that there's a large market, what are the pain points in the market? What is it that people don't dislike about the current solution? And it's not, I mean, it would have been great for me to say that it was a bright spark of my idea. It really wasn't. It was a collection of people and meeting in Bucks and coffee shops and Starbucks and places like that. And then over a course of time, the kernel of the idea formed. And then you take that kernel of the idea and then you test it with various people. And we're very fortunate here in Silicon Valley to have the people that you can test it with. You don't really have to travel very far. The investor community, enterprise networking community, service providers are all within a 10 to 15 mile radius. And if you want to talk to media companies, you just have to go down south to LA. You want to talk to some finance companies, you got to go up to San Francisco. So we had that kernel of the idea sometime in the middle of 2012. And then by November, so that was about June or July, and between then and November is when we kind of formulated the idea, a small handful of people, 3 or 4 folks, and then went and approached the incubator. And the incubator was thinking along a similar idea in any case. So it was actually a match that was made fairly quickly. We got our seed funding in November 1st, 2012, and that's when we launched the company. And getting seed funding is different from getting funding from a venture capital firm. There, the diligence process is a lot more because you're typically raising more amount of funds. So it's the team, it's the idea, it's what traction that you've been able to get so far, even in just justifying the pain point. Right? So we might think that it's a big pain point, but then the investor community wants to know that is it truly a pain point for the customers that you're going after.
So your solution works with the existing infrastructure in the branch, or you replace the branch without any kind of infrastructure with the thin clients?
Yeah,
because
so
we don't need the L2, L3 connectivity in addition to the services on top of it, right?
Right. So it's easiest, of course, if there's a green field and there's nothing out there, then you can connect it. But it's got to work also if there's an existing infrastructure. If there's an existing infrastructure, we typically sit either inside the infrastructure, so if there's a L2 or L3 connectivity, then we sit inside. In certain cases, we can also sit on the outside part of the infrastructure. And in very few cases, we can sit in a one-armed manner. Now, in all of those cases, you don't get the full benefit because sometimes you may not be able to see all of the links, or you may not be able to see all of the local area network traffic. So there are some restrictions on the kinds of services that you can roll out. But we do we do deploy both in greenfield as well as in existing deployments.
So the value is more in how you orchestrate the services, or you have your organic services instead of an ecosystem of existing firewalls, WAN optimization kind of devices?
So we have our own service as well. One of the important things of rolling this out on the cloud, because the traffic has been shifting from the enterprise data center onto the cloud, the broadband internet becomes very important.
True.
And so the ability to coalesce different broadband internet connections into one and virtualize that, that is a service that we have created from the ground up. So that's not a service that's available as a VPN or a firewall. And then there are services that we have in our service catalog, so you can instantiate, as I said, a WAN optimization service or a cloud-based VPN service or a firewall service. We will not come up with all the suite of services ourselves, so obviously it will be a partnering approach to fill the catalog, because branch offices might need a lot more services than just we can provide.
Sure. Thank you.
How much seed money did you raise, and how many more $1 million you needed to make your product works and on the market?
So we raised $350,000 of seed funding, and then we got another $5 to $6 million in our Series A. And in order to, the next round that I'd be looking for is somewhere in the $12 to $15 million range. And so it really goes in steps. You don't want to raise too little, but neither do you want to raise too much, because then you dilute the company.
How many engineers you needed until you finish?
I have, well, when we started off, we just had a couple of engineers. By the time we got to the beta, we had 12 engineers. And until we actually release the product, that number is not going to go up by a lot. It's probably at 16 or 17. There's a very deliberate attempt to keep the team really small. The last company that I was running had 1,400 people in it, and in order to get anything done, it was very, very difficult. So, to keep the team small is a critical aspect of, I think, many startups, but in particular, we want to keep the team really small.
So to run these this Appleware aggregation of services, obviously, if I can run it on my laptop, I don't need special hardware. Yes. So what is your reason for offering that as an option?
So the reason for the special hardware is you need to be able to run multiple services, and when you're sitting outside of your laptop, then you're actually coalescing traffic from different endpoints. So if it's just Pradip running on his laptop, then there's a certain number of limited services that you will have. Like when you're making a phone call, it's unlikely that you have a lot of things that are running simultaneously. But if you're sitting across many end users, then one has to look at how do you balance the traffic from different endpoints. And that requires a lot more horsepower.
Right, so my question, sorry, I misstated the question. My question wasn't that one should only offer the aggregation at the endpoint, but rather, even if it's in the network, that it sounds like you can run it on generic hardware. So the thin edge device that you mentioned, what is the purpose of that?
Yeah, so there are some limitations in generic hardware. The hardware needs to be virtualization capable if you have to run many services. Not all of the servers that are available in the branch are VT capable, for number one. Number two, if you really have to coalesce the links and make them look like one, if you're not sitting at the physical edge of the branch, then you're not going to be able to see all of the links. So there's a need to be positioned in a certain point, and the existing hardware may not have that, have the ability to do. Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sanjay. I realize it's a time crunch, and thank you again. Great job. I want to bring back Garima if anyone has any questions. Garima, again, great job on the presentation. We are so proud to have Garima and Akasha here. As I mentioned earlier on, we launched our accelerator in January, and they were one of the first companies who got in there. And there's a lot of hard work that has gone into this project. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Garima would be happy to take one or two.
How much of the team did you have to have in place when you went for concept validation?
When we went for concept validation, we had our architect in place because we needed to sort out the technology and how we built it. So it was just 3 of us at that point.
And for customer feedback?
So we were getting customer feedback during the concept validation also. So I would include that. I would say that we got customer validation during the first stage as well. The second stage, when we actually went out with a prototype, we have 5 engineers already in place. Yeah.
Thank you.
What resources are you actually metering? Because you can meter many different things up the stack.
So we meter the environment holistically. The virtualization layer, the hardware layer, the compute layer, the network layer, as well as the storage layer. Based on customer demand, we may also meter some important applications. So one request we're getting is for SAP. So VMware, we charge back only does the VMware layer. And when I talk about metering our virtualization layer, I'm including Hyper-V, KVM, and Zen.
And you left Microsoft out?
Hyper-V.
Sorry, go.
Do you do only IaaS measuring or do you also do PaaS measuring?
Right now it's only IaaS because that's where the problem is. But depending on feedback, we want to first perfect our IaaS offering. And depending on feedback, we may offer more metering for PaaS too. SAP is one example that's done.
Last question, please. So is the value APM or is the value of metering the infrastructure itself? Because what's the value to the customer? Are you saying if you go to IaaS A compared to B, it's a better value proposition, or it's just saying SAP is running low, needs more memory?
Yeah. So that's a very good question. A lot of companies are focused on APM because that has been a pretty acute problem. I think APM as a market, and APM is application performance management, APM as a market is pretty saturated with some really good solutions out there. Once people solve the APM problem, the next problem they're talking about is cost. Because they're saying, I have actually no visibility into who's using what. I've fixed my APM problem, but I've actually over-provisioned underneath to fix my APM problem. So that's where we step in and say, okay, you may actually have an over-provisioned VM there that your application should be running on. Instead, your application is running on 5 small VMs, and that is really your problem that's driving up your cost too. So we can provide those sorts of granular insights that work on really optimizing the cost, optimizing where you should run your applications, and so on. And we have some future concepts around how we could provide dials where the IT manager could actually set what they wanted, whether they want to optimize on cost or performance or scalability or availability, and we can provide them with intelligent workload migration decisions based on that.
So my question was based on the workload migration, right? So wouldn't the workload be smart enough to know it needs more resources dynamically rather than reporting based on metrics? Because you might be costing more in terms of getting those metrics rather than,
So that is actually the root of the problem, because the workloads are smart enough to say they want more resources. Yeah. Because it's so easy to spin up resources in a virtualized environment, and they can do it self-service in a cloud environment, which makes the problem worse. So that's where the over-provisioning problem comes in. IBM actually did a study of 600 customers. These are real running deployments. And they found that 30 to 50% of the infrastructure was wasted. So, if you think about a mid-sized company, they typically would have a budget of, say, 20 million for their IT. Of the 20 million, 6 to 12 million is wasted. So there's waste of some shocking proportions out there. And it's because...
sprawl.
Yeah, so it's infrastructure sprawl at the bottom of it. But it's because people are trying to ensure that their SLAs don't go down, and they're provisioning rapidly underneath because they can. And so now you have infrastructure sprawl at pretty shocking proportions. So with our solution, we contain the sprawl first off, then we allow the IT manager to actually manage 4 different variables with the application.
Thank you.
No more questions?
Hey. Thanks, Garima. Looks like there was just that one question. Thank you so much. We really appreciate Garima and Gautam and Sanjay from Willow Cloud showing up at a short notice and giving us a great presentation. Yeah, please.
So I think one of the questions was about concept validation. So one of the things which is very important is to validate the value of your product as quickly as possible. So the way we are approaching is this. We actually talk the idea with customers, potential customers, with PowerPoints and discussions like this. So we got the thumbs up. Then we went about building the product, but even as we were building the product, as you can see, our beta is actually coming out in end of April. But even before the beta is out there, we have written some little tools with which we share with some really friendly customers, and we're collecting data from them, and we're processing the data just as we would do once we have the final product, and we mine the value of the information and we share it back to them and say, is it valuable for you? And the answer is a resounding thumbs up. So now if we validate, it's very important to validate the idea in stages and as rapidly as possible before you start building and hiring a lot of engineers, building a product, and say, oops, we missed the mark right there. So that's one of the things which we did.
So with that, it's the end of the presentations and the discussion. So we are now going to have our networking and then followed by dinner. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate our guests from Osaka taking time from their busy schedules and in their trip to make a visit to Silicon Valley, to TiE Silicon Valley, which they do every year. So this is a good habit. Love to have you back again next year.